Well, hello, this is Jim Clary, the Senior Geek, and today we're going to review an exciting update to OneDrive for Macs. And as Jack talks about in his blog post, making Mac OneDrive faster and more reliable. And what they've moved to is to the Apple native sync engine. They're rolling it out through the Insider preview, and I happen to be one of the ones that could get my hands on it, and I've been using it, and we're going to document it here. While this is for the preview version, I would anticipate once it becomes a shipping version, it's pretty much going to be the same thing. A little look ahead, I really found no problems with it whatsoever, other than sometimes it quits and you have to restart it, but that can be mitigated very easily with a simple script that would automatically restart OneDrive, and it doesn't seem to do any damage when it does restart. Jack talks about they used to have this cache folder problem. We know about the infamous .od folder that we used to have under the old OneDrive, and that it was known to sometimes cause corrupted files. Anyway, the new sync engine, they says, is faster, more reliable. It has simplified system resources. Hidden folders no longer hold data. Yes, that's true. We'll see in the new system there are only two folders. There's a .data folder and there's a .system folder. The .system folder is a cache. It is hidden. It is a cache for the .data folder, and the .data folder is the one that contains the OneDrive, in my case, OneDrive personal folder, that the actual files. But as we'll see, eventually macOS empties the .system folder. It materializes them into the .data folder. External drive support's the same. I'm not going to go through that here. In fact, I'm going to use an existing OneDrive folder. I'm not going to completely rebuild it here. You can refer to my earlier video on how to build an external drive if that's what you're interested in. Okay, anyway, we're just going to dive into that, and as you'll see at the end, everything looks really good. I think Jack and his team did an excellent job. So let's dive into it. Start downloading some files. Okay, we're ready to start downloading all files with OneDrive. First, I've got my two utilities that I'm going to need, specifically the OneDrive Keep Alive command script. I call them utilities scripts. And the second one being Cloud Storage Size Monitor. Now, I've got YouTube videos describing how to install those from GitHub, and I will include the links to the two YouTube videos in the description of this video. And you don't have to have them, they're not mandatory, but it certainly makes things easier, particularly the Keep Alive command, the OneDrive Keep Alive script or command. All right, the next thing we need to do is we want to use a version of OneDrive that uses a native sync engine. All I wanted to do is to identifying native sync engine, because right now, as I'm publishing this video or preparing this video on August the 20th of 2026, the native sync engine is still in the Insider Preview beta track, if you would. And Jack says that make sure that it is in, at least for right now, it's got to end with the something like 26H as he's talking about. But I think, where did he say? I thought he had. Anyway, the reason I say this is eventually they're going to roll it out to the production channel, and you won't have to worry about it. Okay, so having said that, we're ready to go on and get started. So I can go to my OneDrive. Before I do that, let's get the two utilities started. So I simply go to here. I start up my Keep Alive script. I just double click on it. It opens up a window. So that's fine. And then I want to monitor the cloud storage size. So we start that. And you can see we're starting with 336 gigabytes already downloaded and already fully materialized in the data system, and just minimal amount in the cloud storage, the system folder, which is the cache folder, and the native OneDrive, or excuse me, native, native sync engine, Apple native sync engine. It works, it uses the system folder as a cache and eventually moves them all and presents them or characterizes them in the data folder. And you can see here, that's what we've got right now. Okay, so now we're ready to start. So again, we go back up to OneDrive. We click on Settings, and just to document what I'm running the 26143.072.26 Apple Silicon standalone 26L. That's indicative of it is using the Apple native sync engine. Okay, so we just simply go to sync and backup. We go to advanced, and we go to download all files, because this is what we want to do. We want to get all of our files copied to our local hard drive, whether it be the internal drive or, like me, the external drive, wherever your OneDrive folder is existing. We just want to download them all, so we just click this. And you see it's going to take up to 630 gigabytes. We just simply say OK. And we will see here very quickly, it's going to start picking up some things. And you can see now it's starting to download everything. And you see OneDrive just stopped. You saw it just disappeared. That's what we'll see. But never fear, the utility, the Keep Alive utility is going to pick it back up. The way it's designed, it waits 60 seconds. It notices it's gone, that it starts a 60-second timer. And at the end of 60 seconds, it checks again to make sure it hasn't restarted. And if not, then it restarts it. So we'll wait literally just a minute. Okay. We say it came back up. You can see it's back up here. He's signing in, and he's going to start catching up again, 220 gigabytes, 252. So you can see the real need for the Keep Alive script. All right. That's all I'm really going to talk about for here. For right now, I'm going to stop recording, and we'll come back. Maybe once we get a little more deeply into it, I may show you a couple of intermediate points. Okay, I'm back just for a quick intermediate check. We can see over here in this window that OneDrive's been behaving. It has not stopped again. We're about, the time now is 5:53, and we see this one restarted at 4:50. So it's been running what? Maybe a little over an hour, which is not atypical. Sometimes it starts as it gets closer. Looking at downloads, we can see that it's done about 150 gigabytes out of the 293 that it had to do. So it's doing a little over 150 gigabytes an hour. And we can see from here on our little cloud storage size monitor, we started out with 336 gigabytes in the data folder. And now we got 437, and we've got 45 gigabytes in the system folder. Okay, well, I will see you when things are done. As I said, I just wanted to do one quick intermediate check. Okay, it's now the next morning, and we can see OneDrive is done. Backed up in sync, we could see it downloaded the last one about 11 hours ago, which implies it's now, let's say, 8 a.m. So it finished up about 9 p.m. last night, or 2100. So let's first look how many times did it have to restart. And we could see it only had to do it twice. Once at 1650, that first one we saw where it barely ran. And then it restarted after running for over 2 hours, and it kept that up until it shut down from simply the 8-hour timer on it. It had nothing to do with OneDrive. It was simply the 8-hour timer. So that was very good. I haven't seen them, my experience, generally speaking, OneDrive quits more than twice. Well, that's good news. Alrighty, and we could see, let's go look now and see what happens to the, I call it materialization. And we could see here as we're downloading the data here, we're at about 1900, and remember we finished about 2100. We can see we've got about 134 gigabytes in the system folder, 132. Now we're getting close to it being done. We're down to 128. Remember, we think the OneDrive finished about 2100. We're at 125. We're still in the 20s. 119, 117 gigabytes in the system. Let's flip way on down here. Now you can see it's starting to fall pretty dramatically as we get, 2100. So we're thinking that probably the downloads are done by now. And we can see it starts falling pretty dramatically as it's moving files. Remember, these are in 5-minute slices. So here's one you can see tremendously. 2155, 74 gigabytes, and 2158, just 3 minutes. Maybe it's a 3-minute thing. So it's down to 11 gigabytes, down to 8 gigabytes. Now it was done. By 2200, it has done and moved everything from the system up to the data folder. I've seen other things where it waited, but it's fine here. And we could tell by looking at the Finder, there are no indications that the files haven't been materialized. Remember, a characteristic of that is not only the always available on this device, but only available online, the little icon with the little cloud with the down arrow on it. Okay, as a final check, we'll want to run our Python script that checks for corrupted files, specifically for files that have been truncated. We noticed in the earlier version, before they used a native sync engine, when they used a .od container folder. My experience has been it corrupted by truncating some files. And I developed a script that called OneDrive Truncation Audit that checks for that and allows you to mitigate it if possible, to get back the full untruncated complete file. Anyway, but what we want to do here is make sure that all these downloads that using the native sync engine is also taking care of that problem. And so we can go on and check. I'm just running it in kind of a pre-release version here. I will have GitHub, we'll release it on GitHub and release a video for that. And when I do, I'll update the description below here for this video that would point to that. But of course, it's why you want to keep subscribed to this channel, so when I release it, you'll see it. Anyway, let's go. Just say run here, and you see it's starting its audit scan now. It detects where the OneDrive folder is, and not much to see here. It's just zipping through, skipping files that are below 50 megabytes in size because those probably were not truncated. And we'll see you when the run is done. All right, the scan is complete, and this is the audit report it produces. And we can see here, perfect. No suspicious or truncated files were detected in this scan. We scanned 1462 that were above the 50 megabyte threshold, and we didn't have any that needed review. We do have 34 rehabilitated truncated files. These are left over within my OneDrive folder, the files in there. 34 of them had been corrupted in the past by the earlier version of OneDrive, but I was able to recover them by going through version history and picking up the earlier version. Anyway, just to encourage you to watch for the publication of my YouTube video and the release of this OneDrive Truncation Audit Report, and should be run by, in my opinion, should be run by everybody who's downloaded files, all of their files, using the old system or the new native sync engine version that we're using here. So we are done. Good job using the native sync engine. No real problems here at all. So that takes care of this. I ask you to give it a thumbs up if you found it useful, and subscribe to the channel. There'll be some more things coming out about the two utilities that I mentioned. We'll have YouTube videos on those two of how to get them off GitHub. So thank you, and hope you to see you in another YouTube video on the Senior Geek.